Yo, what up, good people out there? This your boy EC22, the fellow with a fair with a fan channel, man. We're going live for another podcast, man. But before we get started, man, like, subscribe, share, leave comments, and that'll help the channel grow. And I always say this, but I really want you guys to take me serious on this one. Take me up in my word. If you want to be a guest on this podcast, please hit me up any way you can, and I'll send you a link to the videos, and then we can jump in. You can jump in as a guest. But let's get into it. Yo, what up, back? What's up? This your boy EC22 of the Fat with a Fan channel, man. We are in this thing for another podcast. And once again, I got your favorite Philly fan in the house. Don't talk about my team. That is what his tagline is going to be. Wow. Is that what you're doing? Max, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. New year, so let's get on with it.
New Year, yeah. Before we go any further, man, Happy New Year to you guys out there, man. I hope you had a great, fun New Year. And you can see I let the beard go in 2024, so it's a new me. I'm gonna try to keep it low. So we'll see what we're gonna do. But Max, let's just dive right on into it, man. College football. All right. Before we talk about the playoff system, I watched several games this past week. Definitely on Monday. But man, the Wisconsin and the LSU game, man, really just grabbed my attention, man. It was funny because prior to those playoff teams playing, that was pretty much the best game of the bowl games right there. So Wisconsin ended up edging them. Was it 31-35? They beat Wisconsin, so it was a good back and forth game. I was on the edge of my seat. That was fun to watch. Let's talk about FSU. Big loss to Georgia, 63-3. What are your thoughts on that huge loss?
Now we can finally comprehend why they kept them out of the Final Four because you won the most competitive games out there, and I guess they saw something we didn't, and they decided to boot them out. And I think it was right decision by watching the score.
Yeah, you know what?
But
I'm still kind of conflicted, right? Because I still think that I know this is what the business calls for, all right? So I'm not going to knock the NCAA for them choosing this right here, right? But still, once again, if the NFL doesn't do this, right? We don't not put a team in based on, if they get beat down, they get beat down, right? So that just kind of, I wish that system would have went, say just unfortunately, we don't have a true playoff system that can truly go by the record, right? You have to go by the whatever people judging in a room, whatever, or with the final teams, whatever. Primarily the Power Five, the teams in the Power Five conferences. But anyway, but that just goes to show you, even though LSU may not should have been in there, but look, Georgia. I'm looking at what this means for Georgia. Georgia, in my opinion, should have made the cut. They should have made the cut over Alabama, because I guarantee you it would have been a different outing when it came down to if Georgia would have got a chance to play Michigan. I think that would have been a completely different look from my perspective.
yeah, it pisses me off because I've told everyone if Georgia would have gotten into these Final Four, no one would have stopped Georgia from taking it home again, man.
Yeah, speaking of Georgia, speaking of Alabama, man, they lose to Michigan 27-20. The Michigan fans are excited. I'm excited because we don't get to see another SEC team in the playoff or in the final, the championship game. So I'm excited about that. Because honestly, I have no hate in my heart for any SEC team. I have no hate in my heart for Alabama and Nick Saban, what they got going on. But it's a good refreshing to see another team like that. And I've been waiting on Michigan to get up there for the longest, man. We're gonna see if this is gonna be the last hurrah for Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, it will be.
We
With the
well
whole
we well we
cheating
we, we
scandal?
well,
With the cheating scandal?
we don't know yet. We don't know. There's some NFL teams that's interested. We'll talk about that later on. But you think that he's out? You don't think he'll come back? Is it he's leaving, or the NCAA is putting him out, or Michigan's putting him out?
It's gonna be one of those things where we both decided to separate.
Mutually part ways. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. You
Wow,
got
that's
all this
crazy.
scandal on our school. We don't want that, and I'm pretty sure you don't want that either.
Yeah. Dude, I am upset with Texas because you know me, we Big 12 over here all day. And this is the last run for Texas in the Big 12, and y'all lose to Washington. It was a good game, 37-31, but man, they had it. They had it right there, and I don't know. I don't know. I knew the SEC is going to be a real tough one. I can't wait next year to see how they figure out that monster system over there, what they're going to do. But yeah, the ACC man, SEC man is going to be real crazy over there.
It's crazy because TCU is the only Texas team that has made it that far to a championship, and it's gonna stay that way for a while, man.
Yeah, well, yes, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's going to be that way for a while. I agree with on that. Unless something happened, I don't know.
Unless
Moving.
Arch Manning makes it happen.
Arch Manning. Wow. Hey, let's move on to NFL. We got a lot to cover NFL, man. Before we dive, NFL, let's do the stat leaders for week 12. Oh man.
Skip the
So
running backs.
no. uh Number one, ironically, is Dak Prescott. 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, YNT, 1 INT in that game. And we'll get to talk about the Cowboys and Lions games later on, but stat leader on that. Lamar Jackson, obviously, yeah, 321, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. We got a lot to say about that. Tyrod Taylor, 319, 1 TD, 1 INT. Matthew Stafford, 317, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs. Tyrod Taylor was a loss. The other guys are a win. Joe Flacco, being what Joe do, mighty Joe does, 309 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 INT. Dang, the only person who got throw INT was Lamar. Well, we're going to get in that a little bit. Russian leaders, Isaiah
Ah,
Pacheco, 130 yards rushing, at a ugly win against the Cincinnati Bengals, man. Ugly win. James Conner, we're gonna, yeah. He did the exact same thing he did to the Cowboys, man. 128 yards rushing, man. 1 touchdown, man. Khalil Herbert for Chicago, 124 yards, 1 touchdown. Najee Harris for Pittsburgh, man. Also win by Pittsburgh, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Aaron Jones for Green Bay in there, win against the Minnesota Vikings, 120 yards, but no touchdowns for him. Man, receiving leaders, we goes without saying. C.D. Lamb, 227 yards. The longest was a 92-yard man pass. And you would think with the stats that he had and what Dak had, the game would have been blown out. But it came down to a last second decision and controversy, whatever. We'll get into that later on. DJ Moore for Chicago, 159 yards, 1 touchdown. David Njoku, 134 yards, no touchdowns. George Pickens had, like I say, that darn Pittsburgh team looked good against the Seahawks. Um, with 131 yards for George Pickens. And then, of course, you got Rashid Rice for Kansas City, 127 yards. And they needed every bit of what he can do to win that game because it was just an ugly win, like I say, by Kansas City. What are your takeaways for this past week, man, as far as these teams that were playing this week before we get into what we
first thing I want to say is congrats to Mike Tomlin. 17 seasons in a row with winning record, man.
speaking of Mike Tomlin, now, of course, obviously I'm a Mike Tomlin fan and I'm a Pittsburgh fan, but here's the situation with Mike Tomlin. I don't know exactly, and that's why I want somebody who is a dedicated fan of the Steelers who followed the organizations for numerous years, not just a fan of Mike Tomlin like myself or just the organization, but this is what I've heard from a Steeler fan about a year ago. While they're excited and happy that Mike Tomlin has not had a losing season, he was excited and had a lot of great things to say. And of course, this guy particularly went to bat for Mike Tomlin. There's another fan that I heard in a different location says that since when does mediocrity becomes the keys to success. Basically, like we should be winning Super Bowls, or at least winning divisions, or at least getting a long playoff run. But just we're settling for not having a losing season. That seemed to be the MO. And uh, while though they appreciative of what Mike Tomlin has brought to the Steel organization for all these years, they're not necessarily happy with that narrative or pleased with the narrative, because they just seem like not having a losing season is one thing, but does it translate to a long playoff run? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I see it from both sides. You're a
Yeah,
true fan. I mean, results turn into success, and success turns into successful Super Bowl runs and stuff.
yeah,
Like, how many Super Bowls have we gone with Mike Tomlin? Just one, right? One,
yeah,
two.
yeah.
Yeah,
They won one, lost one, so yeah, he's been there
yeah,
twice.
he's
Yeah,
1-1,
so
and it's okay to win the division, but come on, man, you gotta finish it all strong, man.
yeah, yeah, they got to
That
fix
it's kind of like saying like the Cowboys, they got all these Super Bowls, but the past what 20 years
it.
it has
Right.
not translated into the playoffs. You gotta be successful in the playoffs because the playoffs is a whole new season.
Yeah.
If you're not turning in results in the playoffs, then I mean, look at the Giants. They won two Super Bowls off a 9-7 record, man.
Right, 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 right. And that's the deal. You get up there to get to the playoff, but then you don't have a playoff. I don't think that one last time made the playoffs.
No, I'm
I don't
talking
know.
about when they went on the Super Bowl run.
Oh, I
Giants.
know. Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about speaking of you talking about the Giants, but I was speaking of the Steelers. When last time they went to the playoffs? It's been a minute, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
They've had a winning season, or not gonna say winning season. They had non-losing seasons because there are a couple of seasons where they just had an even record. So this year they had a true winning season. Um,
And they still won't make the playoffs this season.
well, yeah, yeah. Are they out of the race?
No, they're in the race, but they need a lot to happen for it to get in.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll talk about that later on. Yeah, because I forgot about that whole scenario for them to get in. We'll talk about that. Matter of fact, shoot, uh, Dalvin Cook. You just told me this about Dalvin Cook. I completely been away from watching any type of sports shows today. What's going on with Dalvin Cook?
so Dalvin Cook went to the Jets organization and told them basically, release me. I'll give you all the guaranteed money back. Don't give me no guaranteed money. He decided to leave out of there, and now he's a free agent, and anyone can pick him up if he goes straight down the waiver wire. No one claims him. He can be claimed by any one of these Super Bowl contenders, and honestly, he's really fresh because they have not used him at all.
Yeah, I know that was going with Brees Hall this whole season, and the Jets. The Jets. It's a bold move. Obviously, if it's a bold move because it's off season or prior to this coming season, we talked about the marginalization of NFL running backs and how they are being put in a small box. Saying not giving any leverage to fight for themselves, and now here's a guy who's basically giving money back to a team and saying, I just want to go play for any team that'll have me, but they have to be a Super Bowl contender. And like I say, that is a small pot uh, and a window. And it's like he's just trying to get a chip. Hey, does he have any leverage? I don't know. Will it work? I don't know. But at the end of the day, in a market to where people are not really looking for running backs to pay them, bruh, take all the money you can get. Straight up. Take all the money you can get. Don't give that. I mean, come on, don't get that money back, bro. I'm like, that's just my opinion. What do you think?
I think you need to evaluate all these teams, see who calls, and see who gives you the best chance to get you a ring. Because I know you're gonna have a bonus in that contract that says if you win it, you get more money. So bet on yourself, man. Go win one.
I see on the podcast several months ago, we were talking about a different subject, but G made a comment. He's saying that and this is a business, right? You here to market yourself, right? Your business is supposed to bring you revenue, bring you money, And yeah, while chasing Super Bowls is fine, and it was coming from his perspective, right? Not I don't know what these NFL players or these professional athletes think of, but how they think. But the object is to make the most money you can, right? Um, Going out there trying to get a Super Bowl just to say you got one. I mean, that's fine if that's what you're truly, truly fighting for, but ain't like you getting a Super Bowl, him getting a Super Bowl at this late in the career is going to add to maybe a Hall of Fame Hall of Fame career. It's just you want to get the hardware, and there are several players who got hardware, what I'm saying, who nobody even knows. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Dalvin Cook was the guy in the league for years, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll see how this turn out for that. Um, Speaking
Plus,
of the playoff, huh? Go
he'll
ahead.
he'll be a free agent after the season again, so he's basically playing for a contract next year as well. So a
Right, right,
successful
right,
run will get him that contract. It might not be as much money, but you put in some incentives in there, that
right.
contract's gonna look real nice.
If they give him a contract. So, this gonna depends on what he do. If a team signs him and what he's gonna do, whatever, in the playoff, could he get a team to a playoff, or at least get him some good yardage and some touchdowns in the playoffs. The playoff scenarios. I mean, for the NFC, it's pretty much locked down for the most part. I mean, heck, I mean, you still got that 7th spot still been fought by Green Bay, Seattle, New Orleans, and Minnesota. But pretty much all these other positions has been locked down. So and Tampa Bay as well. They're in that, and they haven't sealed their fate
Secured
yet.
that spot.
So they struggling. I mean, I just knew Tampa Bay was gonna come out and do their thing this Sunday. They lost, so that division is still up for grabs. Um, so man, this is crazy. This is ugly. Your Eagles, do they have a chance of maybe catching the end of? No, they don't, because y'all have no chance. So
No, we have a chance at the division. It's only
if
we
if the
we
Cowboys lose, if y'all
we
win, the
we
Cowboys lose,
we
right?
we need a Washington miracle, and they somehow turns it up against them and they win.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Cowboys going to beat the brakes. They're going to just go ahead, even with their backups in. Who knows? But the Cowboys should be fighting for position at this time. They need to go ahead and get that game over with early in the first half, then rest. Maybe players come third and end of the third and fourth quarter. But you never know. Anything can happen. This year has been so unpredictable. Any given Sunday. Um, I'm gonna let you talk, y'all. I'm gonna say this to you guys out there. Since day what? It's probably maybe about, I don't know what week it was when we threw out our candidates for MVP. It was early in the season. Was it? I'm thinking maybe like week. It was. I know it was anywhere between week 3 and 5.
I
We
think it
talked
was
about
week 4.
week 4. We talked about it, and it was so super early. And you threw out a name that I almost laughed at you. And y'all, he threw out Lamar Jackson at week 4 for MVP. And at that time, I wasn't even thinking about Lamar Jackson because I didn't see anything that he did that was worth to me as MVP race. But I was still hoping for maybe Josh Allen. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes obviously was going to be in the conversation. I would even consider Dak Prescott, but for me, it was Patrick Mahomes and maybe Brock Purdy with that team he had over there. But he threw out Lamar Jackson, and I'm gonna let you say it, Max. You got the biggest "I told you so."
I'm gonna throw this out there too. Earlier in the season, this guy, well, this guy
Yes, me.
told me what my top 5 teams were in the season. He thought it was crazy that kept Kansas City Chiefs out of there, and now
Yeah,
he doesn't think I'm crazy for doing that.
I don't. Any given Sunday, you allow me to eat my words, and I put a lot of hot sauce, salt, and pepper on it, and I eat my words. So, yeah, Kansas City had just, I don't know what's going on in Kansas City. Um, Later on, here in a little bit, actually, in just a few more seconds. Matter of fact, we'll get into that a little bit. We'll get into that in a little bit before I go. I don't want to jump the gun. Um, but like I say, the NFC is pretty much sold up. I think so. The AFC, this is a tight race. This is a tight race. We was talking about the how Pittsburgh can make their chance into the playoffs. It's simple, y'all. Um, Jacksonville lose, they have a chance to get in. Because if Jacksonville lose, Jacksonville is out, and then the winner out of Houston and Indianapolis will make their pick in. So Jacksonville lose, I believe that'll pretty much guarantee. Uh, well, if Jacksonville lose and Pittsburgh win against Baltimore, you know what I'm saying? So the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing the Titans. Pittsburgh is playing the Ravens. The Ravens are already thinking about sitting everybody down because this is they got the number one seed locked up as it is. So this is a nothing game for them. Hopefully, if they do sit everybody down, that'll give Pittsburgh a chance to win that game. They win, they're in. Well, they have to win, and Jacksonville has to lose. I don't know what the health is of their quarterback and some of the other players. Did ETN go out that game as well? I don't know what I saw something about ETN, maybe not, but um, is the quarterback healthy?
He should be.
He should be healthy. So this is even though with everybody healthy, this still is a team. This still a game that Tennessee can win if they choose to win. You know, I don't know if they're trying to lose for position in the during draft. I don't even know, but that's what Pittsburgh needs. You know, Indianapolis and Houston, they're going to cancel each other out. Whoever wins that game, they're going to stamp their way into the playoff. If Jacksonville win, they lock down the division. If Jacksonville lose, the division goes to the winner between Indianapolis and Houston. And then, of course, the Pittsburgh, once again, they need to win and hope that Jacksonville lose to get their chance in the playoffs. Other than that, the situation between Buffalo and Miami, that is a fun one. Whoever win that game is the division champion for the AFC East. That's going to be a real fun game to watch because we saw the beatdown Buffalo put on Miami at the beginning of this, and both teams are different looking teams. Both teams are unpredictable at this particular point. You know what I'm saying? So who knows what those teams are going to do? They hold their fate in their hands. But Buffalo need to win this game. So we'll see what happens right there. Y'all, we're going to jump into a segment here that I texted out a lot of people about this segment. And go ahead, Max.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to the number one team, man.
Who's that?
Chicago Bears, you're on the clock. You got that number one pick, and you heard the crowd on Sunday. They don't want Fields going anywhere, so don't do anything stupid with Fields, man. That fan base wants Fields to stay there.
Yeah. Let's get into this Cowboys and Lions game. I almost missed that segment. Cowboys and Lions. If you guys don't know, there was a little controversy on what was that, Saturday night, Cowboys Lions. Lions marched down the field, scored touchdown. Dan Campbell doing what Dan Campbell likes to do, playing a gutsy game, decides to go for two. He gets the 2-point conversion, which gave them the lead temporarily. And then all of a sudden, the referee threw a flag and basically said that number 68 didn't report as eligible. And then all of a sudden, they got the ball back again, threw the ball into the end zone, a 2-point conversion. This time, it was a defensive foul on Michael Parsons. And then they got a chance to go for it again, and then they threw the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he didn't catch the ball, incomplete, and then the Cowboys win that game 20-21. Max, your thoughts about the referee call?
My thoughts on Dan Campbell is he had 3 chances, just kick the field goal. Just kick the field goal.
That was my speech.
Right.
I forget the ref has pretty much been made famous overnight. I forget his name, but they have took that whole team and has decided to ban them from any playoff contention, whatever. That is, listen. When Patrick Mahomes got out there and said the ref shouldn't have made that call on for the game they lost, they turned around and fined him. There was other teams that we've seen them make that call several times since then, calling players for not reporting as eligible, for guys not lined up on the line right. We've seen a lot of illegal formation calls that typically we haven't seen being called in some years, or at least a while. But I guess the referees has made their mind up that they're going to call these games tighter when it comes down to that last second. Now, here's where the controversy. Did 68 report is eligible or not? And according to Scott Van Pelt, who had all the video footage and watching them, as far as what we know with the audios and stuff like that. Even with Dan Campbell in his post game speech, he said he did everything he could and reported, and everybody knew what they was going to do. I like Ryan Clark's perspective on this, and he pretty much said Dan Campbell once again had a scheme in place that was designed to confuse the Cowboys defense. And it did. But also, it confused the refs. You know, it was their design to go up and try to hide the player who was 70. The rep, they actually called it out on the PA system that 70 reported as eligible, but they didn't say 68 reported as eligible. So therefore, the Cowboys did not line up on 68. And obviously, they didn't line up on him. They didn't cover him. He gets in his zone and gets a touchdown. And all of a sudden, boom, the referee called it back because they figured 68 didn't report eligible. I mean, we've seen the footage. The referee was looking at 70, but 68 was dead in his face. 70 was coming across field. I don't know what the referee heard or what he thought he heard or what he assumed that was going to go down. But clearly, that was a mishaps on him. Now, the questions are, do you think the Cowboys win that game if they get that touchdown?
It's hard to say
Or that 2-point
because
conversion, right?
it's hard to say. They didn't need a touchdown to win the game. They need a field
They
goal.
need a field goal, right?
But seeing how they were playing, they were at home. The crowd's behind them. I think they would have gotten a field goal range. Plus, they're so confident in the kicker. He has 1 week to go to hit 100%. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they would have gotten into field goal range for him to win the game for them.
Yeah, it's easy to say that with the way CeeDee Lamb was playing. Obviously, that was going to be his target. No matter how many yards he got, it seemed like they didn't have a chance. They didn't have a stop for him. So it's easy to make that assumption that the Cowboys would have got down within
Field goal.
Arby's field goal range. But if they were reported 68 as eligible, then the Cowboys would have covered him. And so there was really no guarantee that if everything would have went the way it's supposed to, they would have caught him. Dan Campbell was trying too much. He was trying to be too slick. You know what I'm saying? And I love Dan Campbell and I love his creativeness, but this is one you can't have. Two offensive linemen going up to the referee and both trying to report as eligible. That confuses everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's just something you don't do. It's legal. It's just something you don't commonly see happen in the NFL. And it cost Dan Campbell. Now, like the call and don't like the call, but I'm like you. You know what I'm saying? There was an old story that was told. There was a flood, and there was a guy on this roof, and there was a boat, a helicopter, and some people tried to come get him off the roof. And then he said no to everybody. And then when he dies from the flood, go to heaven. God said, "You fool! I was trying to save you." I'm looking at Dan Campbell. What else do you need to know that you should have kicked that field goal? You know what I'm saying? You tried to go for it. They called it back. Went for it again. You missed it. You got lucky on a Michael Parsons flag. That should have been enough to say kick the goddamn field goal. Take your chance in OT. But I don't know. But Dan Campbell said, hey, he if he had to do it 100 times over, he'll do the exact same thing.
We'll see if that's true in the playoffs.
Hey, Dan
Regular
Campbell
season is different from playoffs. You're not one and done in the season.
Yeah.
Playoffs, you lose, that's it. You're going home.
Yeah. Hey, y'all. As we get ready to wrap up this week's podcast, listen, I sent a bunch of you guys a text message today. And for some of you who got the text message, I appreciate your responses to it. Others of you who don't know will know right now. Listen, for the next couple of weeks today and then 3 weeks after today, I will be trying to cover every single team in the NFL as far as what they can do to get better. But I need your help. Listen, today we're going to cover the AFC and the NFC East teams. But next week it'll be the West, and the week after that be the North, and the week after it be the South for both AFC and NFC. If your team falls in one of those categories, listen, please, whatever your team is, send me some info about your team. If you know what I'm saying, I'll definitely call you out or shout you out in the podcast for what you say about your team. I've been doing my own homework. I've been doing a lot of research, so I pretty much got it covered. But I just want to make sure that I don't leave anybody's perspective out of it. Your perspective matters, and maybe somebody, especially since you guys are dedicated to your team, die hard. Me, I'm a fan of all teams. I try to get stuff here and there, but I love all teams. Cowboys is my team, and then a few others. But this podcast is for you. So if you want to get your opinion out there, if you want to join the conversation, I can send you the link. You can get on and you can talk about your team like what Max about to do with his Eagles. So we're going to do this for the next 4 weeks. What can your team to do? What can your team do to get better? So go ahead and kick it off, Max, with the Philadelphia Eagles. What can your team do to do better?
The wins and losses do not matter if you do not win. If you do not go to Super Bowl, win it.
Yeah,
That's pretty much our goal every single season. We're we just want to win in the Super Bowl. We don't care if you win. How you get into the playoffs, get into the playoffs. But
go ahead.
this team, you can tell, is falling apart, and it starts with the head of the team, Nick Sirianni. Has he lost the team? Has he not lost the team? Who knows? In his interviews, he's saying, no, we have not lost the team. But behind the scenes, you've seen the players tweeting out. There was a report where AJ Brown decided to have other players in different sports leagues say something about his team just to stir up some questions about his organization. And honestly, it's a dumpster fire in that locker room.
I bet.
I I don't even want to go into that locker room because I already know what's. I just don't want to go in that locker room. But it all starts with our head coach. Keep our keep our team together, man.
Yeah,
It's like right now the locker room is broken. The only person that needs to bring it back together is our head coach, and he's not showing us anything to try to put it back together. It doesn't help that our offensive coordinator is still not running good plays, not putting us in position to win. Like the first half against Arizona, we're up 21-6.
yeah,
Second half, three and out, three and out, three and outs. You caught quarterback draw on second and on first and second down. Now you got a third and 26. It's like, bro, why are we calling quarterback draws when we could just be getting small yards and making it a more affordable third down?
right,
That made
right,
no sense to me.
right.
Interview, he said, "Well, it was just we're just trying to see if they would give us anything. Like
Just trying to see
they'll
it. This ain't the time to be just trying to see
It's
it.
exactly trying to see. Oh, we were waiting to see if their defense would play soft and play the pass and give us a big hole down the middle on the side to where we can pick a chunk plays. Like, man,
Wow.
that's you need to stop thinking that. Get us in a position to just move those chains. It doesn't matter. We got to take 17, 18 play drives to score. Just keep those chains moving, man. Keep the clock running. That's
Man,
pretty
listen,
much that's pretty much how I feel about it, man.
you know what's so crazy about your take? You know, this is about how to make the Eagles better, right? And I've searched all over the internet, at least as far as my patience would go, right? And from several different Eagles podcasts, Philadelphia news station over there, uh, Jakeet Sports, I don't know, Jacob or Jacob Sports, whatever. They cover the team. They cover the Philadelphia Eagles every single day, and everybody is saying the exact same thing. Nobody is saying what they can do to get better because I think everybody's shell shocked right now because you don't know what you can do to get better when you got every single piece of the puzzle. You got a your stud in every single position on the football field, and you still doesn't equate to wins. And everybody has been echoed the same situation. It come down to leadership and coaching. And there are some who says that Sirianni having lost his job, you know what I'm saying, to just he just need to work out a few things. And there are some who are very, very explicit in their wanting to move on for Sirianni. So um, that is crazy. You know what I'm saying? From every Philly fan, there's really nothing you guys can do to get better, you know what I'm saying? Because you got all the pieces. Now you just need to make them gel. And obviously that is a coaching situation. And, you know, will it be advantageous for you guys to move on from Nick Sirianni and hand this over to a coach, to a different coach? It's worth looking at. Will it happen? We don't know. There are a lot of fans who just want this to happen. And you guys don't run the ball enough. And that we don't know, is that the playbook issues? I don't know. Um, any final words on the Eagles?
Fire Nick Sirianni, man.
There we go. That is fire, Nick Sonny. That is what we're going to do to get better. The
there's a
Dallas
couple.
Cowboys. Go
There's
ahead.
there's a couple of people out there that are saying this is on AJ Brown, but I'm like, AJ Brown is just one member, man, of the team.
He's been acting like a prima donna. We got to at least give him the credit that he deserves and the attention that he wants. He's been acting out. So I don't know if he's the one that threw the morale glue into the locker room and caused everybody to get crazy. We don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But he definitely need to quit acting the way he did. He need to least. This is where if it's the coaching, the team need to put up a unified front and say, listen, we gonna be all right. That's when you have those players only meetings, right? And they're not having that. So now this questions Jalen Hurts' leadership. You know what I'm saying? And all those other captains around the team. It starts with Nick Sirianni, but when the players, he come down to your quarterback, those captains, to say, hey, we need to pull it together because this is gonna fall on all of us to win the championship, right? The Dallas Cowboys. Nobody wants to talk about what the Cowboys can do to get better right now because obviously Cowboys, have a lot of fans out there because they don't want to jinx the Cowboys at this particular moment. Because we know, and I'm gonna say it whether I jinx them or not, the Cowboys need a running back.
That's what I was gonna say.
I appreciate the little man front, saying obviously with Deuce Vaughn not getting any playing minutes, he's too small. Pollard just didn't look like the same Pollard. He's too small. They've been using Rico Dowdle a lot, but they just need somebody big. They need just somebody big. They've been trying to use their fullback. Obviously, he caused them a fumble last week on the red zone against Miami. We probably would have gave him the game, but I don't know. They just need to get and they need some better DBs. And I'm not talking. Everybody been trashing Gilmore and Bland. Listen, y'all, cornerbacks are going to get beat because you're trying to anticipate where a receiver is going to go. That's the name of the game. You're not going to lock down. There ain't but a few of them that have been able to do it in history, but every cornerback is going to get beat, especially when you're playing man-to-man. It's just a matter of how can you recover. But with that being said, your safeties are supposed to help out. And your defensive play calling need to be a little bit better. I think Dan Quinn has been doing an excellent job as a defensive coordinator, but their safety just suck. So I'm just gonna throw it out there. Everybody need to go besides Bland, Gilmore, and then obviously Diggs when he get back. And then we need to overhaul. Everybody else need to go somewhere else. And that's just my opinion. I think maybe adding another stud piece at the linebacker position can maybe help. So that's just my opinion on that. Offensive wise, we already talked about them getting another receiver. Other than CeeDee Lamb, I like Brandon Cook, but I mean, Gallup got to go. Gallup got to go. Gallup got to go. I'm sorry, Gallup got to go. So
For me, honestly, defense is fine. I just wish they would go out and get a linebacker because, they like lining up Micah Parsons on the line. And what happens when he gets neutralized? People run the ball all over them, opposite side of him. What happens? They get chunk plays because their linebackers are weak because Micah Parsons is not back there with them.
Right.
And then there is just injury prone as well. So
right. And that's sad when you got a guy like Parsons that can do what he do every single play. You need him. You don't need yes, the Cowboys defensive should get creative, right? As far as trying to move him around, confuse the defense, confuse the offense, whatever. But you shouldn't have to. Say everybody need to come up and do their job, but he shouldn't have to try to do two jobs at one time. You know what I'm saying? Get in the pass game or trying to stop the rusher or try to be a rushing quarterback. They definitely need a linebacker. Now, with that being said, coaching, better play calling from the offensive side. I don't think that Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy are as buttoned up as they portray. I do believe, as Cam Newton echoed, I do believe Dak has become a game manager versus a game changer. We see some game-changing moments, but if they became a game manager, I do believe that. And I think that has to do with Mike McCarthy total trust in Dak. Allowed him to open it up, you know what I'm saying? Giving him that confidence, you know what I'm saying, like they do, like Sean McDermott does Josh Allen, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Is this the last season, Michael, for um, McCartney? I don't know. We'll see. Dan Quinn has been putting his hat in the ringer to maybe take over the head coaching job. I don't know.
Wait until we see how he performs in the playoffs. If you can get over that hump, then
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead and make a coaching change. I
right,
mean, get a coaching change if you can't get over the hump because they're just proving that they can get over that
right,
divisional round, get past the divisional round, get to champ. Well, they have a clear path to the divisional championship game. This has been one of the weakest playoffs we've seen in a while.
right,
So I mean, they have a straight shot to go all the way to San Francisco, play championship game. But can they get it done in Santa Clara? We'll find out.
right. So the New York Giants. Let's talk about them real quick, and I'm gonna go. This is coming from uh, Alex Wilson and Anthony Rivardo from Fireside Giants Empire Sports Media on YouTube. These are things they say that the Giants need to do to get better. They're looking at their quarterback situation, right? Tyrod Taylor, Tommy DeVito, Daniel Jones versus a rookie. Obviously, they need a quarterback. They just don't know right now who that should be. Obviously, their chances of getting one of those top running backs out of the league, they need to make sure they try to get one of those rookies. They compared Tommy DeVito and Tyrod Taylor in a golf scenario, and I thought it was pretty cool. They talking about, if anybody who knows the sport of golf, they said Tyrod Taylor is that golfer that you want to see in a tee box because he's going to knock that joker 300 plus yards, and it's awesome to watch. But when it come down to the precision of the green, maybe not so. And they said that's where Tommy DeVito comes in. He's a guy who can play the field and play the greens a whole lot better. So kind of figure out what do you want. You want that shooter that's going to throw the ball downfield and connect. But they ain't too many players that can run that far pretty fast like a Tyreek Hill. But that's what you want a Tyrod for. And then Tommy DeVito is the position guy. Daniel Jones can run. Tommy DeVito can run a little bit. But what you really want is a quarterback that can embody all of those. So and that's what they may be looking for. They still haven't decided what they want. The coaching staff. Brian Daboll and defensive coordinator Wink Martindale have been kind of off and on the same. They haven't been on the same page, and so they need to strengthen up that relationship. And then offensive line Bobby Johnson, they're looking at him. Saquon Barkley trying to make him happy. Do they have enough to sign Saquon Barkley? They said they needed. Let me make sure I don't mix these things. Oh, so I love so I love their take. They said that the Giants have always drafted well, right? But they haven't always developed their players. So so right now they're not proud of some of their players, what they feel like they need instead of actually drafting, because obviously they need offensive linemen, right? That's the biggest thing. You got these quarterbacks out there who's supposed to be good. If you're gonna get a rookie, it's gonna be more of the same. You need to put the rookies in a situation to where they can succeed. So they was like, what they could do is go ahead and go out there and I gotta make sure I'm not getting my. So they was talking about offensive tackle Olu Fashano. They may not want to go get him, but they want to go get some other free agent guard. They think they're tired of they want to get an offensive tackle, move Evan Neal to guard. That's what the Giants want to do. Move Evan Neal to guard and maybe try to maybe you can go get Olu Fashano because he's gonna be highly looked at from a lot of teams. Everybody's want to looking at this kid for the offensive tackle. I think he plays right tackle, so they're going to be looking at him. But those are the things that the Giants, according to Fireside Giants, the Washington Commanders, they have a little funny situation with them. This comes from from David Harrison from Locked On Commanders podcast on YouTube. Obviously, hire coach, hire GM. We know that. Get rid of
Riverboat.
Riverboat Run, and now the question is, who do you put? So they got Eric Bieniemy, right? So the pros to Eric Bieniemy, they're saying that okay, he's been there, he knows the system, got continuity with the team, so that should be a good thing. But the cons are exactly the same. because he's been there, because he got continuity, you're going to probably get more of the same. But you can say that when any other coach, as far as who's been with the organization trying to take a step up. Me personally, I like that decision. Then they're also looking at maybe who they got. Airbnb also got Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator. They said their offense has been a top 5 since in the last 2 years. But we already see how the Lions are. They're pretty stubborn. And I don't know if that's Dan Campbell, if their offensive lineman, Ben Johnson, and he's been highly sought after as well. So Ben Johnson, yeah, you're going to hear a lot. But what you get is a kind of stubborn system. They want to do what they want to do, even if it don't make sense. They want to be very crazy with their schemes. But like I said, I think a lot of it had to do with Dan Campbell. Would he be a good fit? That depends on who. I mean, I think it'd be a good fit. I'm still leaning on Eric Bieniemy, and then also they have they got other people out there like maybe a Mike McDonald from the Ravens defensive coordinator, Brian Flores from Vikings, and then Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. So those some quarterback names that Washington has been throwing out there. We'll see. Uh,
I'm
they're
surprised
not.
they haven't. I'm surprised Bill Belichick's not on there, man.
Yeah, he's on there. He's on there. But the likelihood, I think the Chargers would be a better fit for Bill Belichick. But we'll go down there. Here's the they said that they at Lockdown Sports meeting, Brian Harrison, he said that he's not sold on going out and getting a quarterback right now.
Honestly, I wouldn't either.
This is his take. He said you don't want to go get Caleb Williams. He said you keep Sam Howell and then add Russell Wilson. His take is phenomenal. He said because Russell Wilson, obviously the situation with Detroit, you know what I'm saying, is not all on Russell. Russell did what Russell's supposed to do, but obviously if you listen to some of the commentators out there and them coming to him ask for his contract to be to be restructured, Sean Payton didn't want it from the beginning. This was probably Sean Payton. As soon as he walked in, he already knew. All that was showing them going out to the Detroit Denver Nugget games and stuff like that was probably just something to show the fans. But you can tell Sean Payton wasn't really sold out on him, right? Russell Wilson needed to stop kissing babies. So, and for this reason, because it's veteran leadership, right? You get him and Sam Howell together. You can have a veteran quarterback. You can put him in situations. You use those top picks to go out and maybe get, you know what I'm saying, an Olu Fashano. You know what I'm saying? To go out and get some other players that you can put around them to make the offensive line better. And then the next year, if it don't work out, because you signed for a 1-year deal, then you go out and get a quarterback, and at least your quarterback will be in a better position with a restructuring line. I think that just makes all the sense in the world to me to do it that way.
Dude, I was thinking Jaja Dobbs instead of Russell Wilson. Jaja Dobbs.
I wouldn't pick Joshua Dobbs for this reason. Joshua Dobbs is, yeah, he's a journeyman, but I think Russell Wilson brings that championship pedigree. You know what I'm saying? I think because Sam Howell is still a better quarterback than Joshua Dobbs to me at this particular point, right? I just think if you bring Russell Wilson and you keep him, obviously you start Russell, but then maybe you can look into Russell transferring into a mentorship role for Sam Howell, being his backup. You know what I'm saying? Give him that 1 year to see what they want to do with that. But Joshua Dobbs, they're from young on young, right? Neither one of these guys got the experience like Russell Wilson, so it just makes sense to me to put him in that situation. Maybe bring him as a reserve, I don't know. But doing so, they would be trading the number 2 pick overall they have to New England to get Drake May, and possibly sending the 3rd round pick, like I say, and going and using the 3rd round pick to get offensive tackle Olu Fashano. So that's what the Commanders are doing. Moving on to the AFC East. So over at the Patriots, Harrison Graham of Patriots Today by Chat Sports. Number 1, Trey Belichick. That's what he wants to do. This how he has these were his five steps and 5 keys to make the New England Patriots better. And I'm gonna run them down. Number 1, Trey Belichick. And this has been this thing going around with coaches you trade him. Belichick is the writings on the wall. He's out. So possibly you can somebody been leaving comments. I'm sorry, you guys. Let me jump into the comments real quick. Danger's been trolling. How about them Cowboys? He basically getting on you. Cowboys should get Dalvin Cook out of running game sucks. Absolutely. Um, so, like I said, going back to New England, trade Belichick. This is the thing they've been doing. Trade and maybe get some for him, maybe a second, third round pick, or any get something from him, right? Since you know you're going to part ways with him, don't let him walk away for nothing. There's some teams out there who possibly want to use him. Definitely not going to get a first round from him, but maybe a late round. Hire an offensive minded head coach. That goes without saying, right? They're looking at Ben Johnson, the offensive line, obviously for the Lions. We talked about him. Bobby Slolik, the offensive coordinator from the Texans. Those are top two. I think Bobby Slowick will probably be a better because we see what he's done with that rookie quarterback over there, right? It just makes all the system. I mean, Ben Johnson, hiring him, he may not be out there long because he's highly coveted. But I think for New England Patriots, I think hiring Bobby Slowick would probably be a better fit for New England on that. Resign key players. They got a lot. They got about 10 players, offense and defense, that are coming up for free agency. They got to look at that pool and go ahead and try to keep some of those players, as well as spend money in free agency. They got a big cap. You got T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, Mike Evans, Calvin Ridley, Marquise Brown on the offensive side. You got Tyron Smith, Gavin Dotson, Robert Hunt, Micah Becton, and Jonah Williams. They got guard. All those guards and tackles. There are some free agents out there that can make that offensive line better. And so there's those keys, New England. And I agree with that list. I would give that list an A+. As far as what New England, obviously get rid of Belichick, you hire a coach, and then everything else should fall in place. Get a quarterback, Drake May or Caleb Williams. You just said something that Chicago are screaming, keep Justin. If they keep Justin and Washington trades their number 2 pick down to New England, who would you take for New England? Caleb Williams or Drake May?
I wouldn't trade up to number 2. I'll look at if he drops to number 5, either one of them drop to number 5, number 6. That's probably where I would want to trade up to. Because if you trade up to that number 2 spot or that number 1 pick, that just means you're being real desperate right now. And I don't know. It's one of those things where if you show desperation, people are gonna get you to overpay for what you really need, and don't overpay, man. You gotta be smart.
The thing about drafting up, I never understood the logic of drafting up, because if Washington don't want a QB, but New England needs one, then why trade that draft pick? I think this has to do with the draft and the expectation of these players and what number they're, quote unquote, been told they was going to come out as. So if Caleb's supposed to go 1, Drake May number 2, and you got Chicago and Washington in that spot, then it's almost, if New England is looking for a quarterback, then it's almost guaranteed, or maybe probably pressed upon them from the league to trade up to get those guys, because they don't want these guys to fall down in draft order. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess maybe was told they're going to come out in that spot. I don't know how the drafting works. So that's the only craziness behind that. But me personally, you know how I feel about Caleb Williams. I'm still salty that he left Oklahoma. So go with Drake May. That's just my opinion on that from North Carolina. So the last but not least, let's talk about the Jets. Well, not last but talk about the Jets and what they need to do. This coming from Glenn Nodden from Jets Nation Radio. And this is a quote he said. He quoted Bill Parcells and saying, "You are what your record says you are." Let's see what they the pass D is great. They just need to strengthen the offense, including drafting a quarterback. I also agree with Bill Belichick has to go. Absolutely. The New York Jets, they quoted Bill Parcells saying, "You are what your record says you are." And then Glenn Nodden threw a side off on her, except when it comes down to the Jets. And he said, they haven't seen what the Jets was created to be without Aaron Rodgers. So, and he also went on this rant, and a long rant, and he says that, why do players leave the Jets organization and be better than they were with the Jets? And he listed a couple of them. You talking about, you got Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, Morgan Moses, George Fant, Greg Van Roten. All these guys went somewhere else and became better players. Maybe not Pro Bowler or Hall of Fame players, but they did a whole lot better than where they was when it was with the Jets. And so that threw maybe the coaching in the hot seat as far as the Jets getting better. It does Rafa Salah and maybe their GM maybe need to be shaken up a little bit, or they need to get a quarterback. I mean, get a new coach or new GM. We don't know. But that was a pretty much fun take on that. But they said obviously the coaching staff from all of them need to do a lot better when it come down to developing their talent and keeping the talent, because they've always done well with getting players. And that's pretty much what he had to say about the Jets on that one. And I just want to see what the Jets can be with Aaron Rodgers and everybody coming back healthy. I think it's only fair for the Jets organization. That's fair for football. Let's wait next year. Don't make any change. Don't make any major moves. Obviously, you got to make some change. That's the way the business goes. But I don't really think they should make any major moves. I think they just need to sit back and let's see what happens with their team with Aaron Rodgers if he can be healthy. Would you draft a emergency quarterback in the later rounds just in case? For the
No, I would go out and grab a veteran, and in the offseason, have them both take.
Speaking of a veteran, they had Flacco for a while. Then they let Flacco go. He was off for a season and came back, and obviously got picked up by the Browns. Can you imagine what Flacco could have done with that team as a backup once Aaron Rodgers went out?
I don't think anything would have happened because, like we all said, they were not prepared for any other quarterback to be in there but Aaron Rodgers. And what happened? Aaron Rodgers goes out and like the head of the chicken got caught up, and they were scrambling to just try to fix that, and they couldn't. Right. It didn't help when Zach Wilson was saying he wanted to sit out and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's like, bro, you're not giving respect enough to your quarterback room. You're not installing that I think you can handle it type of deal.
Right.
You're not instilling confidence in it. You're pretty much saying we don't know what to do. We're just gonna put someone out there and see what happens. Because you have no confidence in no one at all.
Right. He said, yeah, exactly, Dan. I don't think we can truly assess the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. And that's all fairness. When it comes down to the next two teams in the AFC East, it comes down to the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is kind of the same situation with Buffalo. This is funny. Watching Buffalo, they are 100% sold out on their team. Bills fans and Bills Mafia, they just don't. I mean, they're just like, this is our team. They trust Josh Allen. They trust Sean McDermott. They trust the receiving core. It's just a matter of, I mean, they're just like, and I'm gonna say it, naive to what's really for what I don't know what things need to happen, but man, they are naive. That nobody has said anything negative about the Bills other than the TV analysts. You know what I'm
saying? They got taste of victory and they're happy about it.
It's like we got a taste. We got bit by the losing bug, but now we on this winning train. It's like, oh man, we're back to rare form. And even some of them has suggested that the Bills can win the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying that's completely ruled out, but I'm just saying it's like nobody from the Bills organization, at least I've scrolled and I look, have gave me any keys to what they need to do to get better. And like I said, I guess because they don't want to jinx their team, they want to say, hey, I don't know. The Dolphins, they're just like the Eagles. Everybody is, no disrespect, but the sentiments around the Miami Dolphins is just like the Eagles. They don't know what the heck is going on. Now, they don't have the problems the Eagles have on. They're not imploding from the inside, right? They just don't know what the problem is. I mean, look, you got Devon. I mean, obviously the injuries is a big key, right? Their injuries is a big key, Raheem Mostert and stuff like that. But even when Raheem's Russell, you still got Devon A-Chain. You know what I'm saying? Your wide receivers, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Now Jalen Waddle gets hurt. You know, they're a good team. There's some who have kind of threw shots at Tua, saying that he needs to go. But for the most part, they don't really think the whole organization need to be shaken up. Obviously, they like Coach McDaniels over there, so I ain't tripping. I mean, there was a funny meme that came out of McDaniel. Somebody compared him. They said before it was like a now and then, like coaches now versus coaches then versus coaches now, and they had a picture of
How they're dressed.
yeah, how they're dressed. You saw that they had Tom Landry with his suit on. They had Mike McDonald with his joggers and his t-shirt on. You know that that's funny. But at the end of the day, man, regardless of what you have on, you got to go out there and coach a good game. I think McDaniels is doing the best he can. You know, what I'm saying he's pretty good at what he do. But he
They,
got some.
they
Go ahead.
need a they need a good defensive coordinator, man.
I think so. I think so. But I think their defense is falling behind what the offense does. You know, and it's weird because the Cowboys, they're the opposite, right? Their defense, the Cowboys' offense is only good as their defense. But with Miami, I look at the Miami defense is only good as the Miami offense. It's weird that it's that way. I don't know what it is. It's just whoever ignites. I think Cowboys have a very explosive defense, and when they do explosive things, that gets the team riled up. When Miami has explosive offense, when they're being explosive offense, they get the defense riled up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's my take on those teams. Next week we'll be talking about the AFC and NFC West teams. So if you're a fan of one of those teams falling there, those gonna be some healthy conversations on next week's podcast. But before we go, we're gonna go ahead and do the
Pick'ems.
he said they say he saw what I mean. Let's go ahead and do the week 18 pick'ems to close out the season because we don't have Thursday night anymore. We're done. So
We got Saturday night. 2 games
we,
on Saturday night.
we got
Man.
two games on Saturday night. So those you are in here, we're going to go ahead and do the week 18 pick'ems. Starting out with Saturday games, the Steelers and the Ravens. Who you got?
Steelers.
I got Steelers as well. I don't think the Ravens are going to come to play that game. They're going to rest players. Ooh, this is win or go home for the Texans and the Colts.
Texans, man.
I'm going with the Colts.
Okay.
All right, Sunday, Chiefs and Jaguars. Chiefs and Chargers. I'm sorry, the Chiefs and Chargers. Divisional game, not playing for none of the Chargers out of the playoffs. So
it should be an easy win for Kansas City, but they're gonna play. They're gonna make it. They're gonna stood to the Chargers level and play a real close game.
they're the only team. Daniel got KC on that game. Daniel, who you got for the early two games between Steelers and Ravens and the Texans and Colts? But Kansas City is the only team in that division that punched the ticket to the playoff league. So, and that's not saying a whole lot. That's not fun to say. Cowboys and Commanders.
The star.
The Cowboys. I got the Cowboys.
We basically handed them the division when we lost to Arizona last week. So.
Yeah. He said Baltimore Redskins. So obviously he has the Steelers in that game. And who you got for the Colts and the he got the boys. Who you got for the Colts and the Texans? You got the boys for that Boys and Commanders game. And Bills and the Dolphins. This is the AFC East Divisional Championship game.
I do not trust the Dolphins to win this game, man. I got Buffalo winning.
So you okay. So far we got me, you, and Daniel both went for the Chiefs over go back to Steelers. All three of us go for Steelers for the Steelers and Ravens game. You and Daniel got Texans, and I got the Colts. We all got the Chiefs. We all got the Cowboys, and Daniel got the Bills. Who you got? Who'd you say you had?
Buffalo as well.
You got Buffalo as well? Yeah, I'm gonna go with Buffalo only because I'm biased because I like Buffalo. So we all got Buffalo to win that game. Going down to Tampa Bay and the Panthers. Tampa Bay needs this game. They need this game.
Tampa Bay, because I want to play them in the first round.
I don't think Carolina has nothing to give. They have nothing left in the tank. I think they played their best football they possibly can. So yeah, I'm going with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, this should be an easy win for Tampa Bay. Daniel, who you got? Tampa Bay or Bucks? If you're still on, he got the Bucks as well. So 3 sweep on the Bucks. Going down to Cincinnati and the Bengals. I mean Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. The battle for Ohio.
Cleveland
Cleveland
Browns,
Browns.
man.
You got the Cleveland Browns. I got the Cleveland Browns as well. Daniel, get yours in. Who you got? Cleveland Brown or the Bengals? The Bengals are already out of playoffs, so I mean they're fighting for pride at this point. You know what I'm saying? But I think the Bucks will win that game. While waiting on Daniel, let's go to the next one. Vikings and the Lions. Vikings and the Detroit Lions. Minnesota Vikings and Detroit Lions.
I
Then
got
you
the
got the Browns.
Vikings.
You got the
Hmm?
Vikings. What?
I got the Vikings.
This has got to be an emotional hope. You hope. So you got the Vikings. Me and Daniel both got the Lions on that. So we know.
All right.
Jets and the Patriots.
Patriots. Bill Belichick is gonna go out on a high note.
I'm sorry, I got the Jets on that. I think Belichick don't have anything left to take. He know because the one thing they brought out in the podcast, they brought out that Belichick gave his comments after the game, and it seemed as though he was trying to fight for his job. Basically saying that everything, saying that, not having the pieces. So I don't know, but I think before this game Sunday, he'll pretty much know exactly where his fate lies. So I'm gonna go with the Jets on that because they got to give the Jets the Jets Nation something to look forward to. Daniel, who you got in that game as far as the Jets and the Patriots? Moving on to he got the Patriots as well. So I got the Jets. You and Daniel, he said both of them ain't playing for nothing. So both you guys got the Patriots and I got the Jets. All right, going on to Seattle and the Cardinals.
Give me the Cardinals.
You got the Cardinals? What?
I got Cardinals beating Seattle. Seattle gets knocked out the playoffs. They don't get the number 7 pick, the number 7 seat, man.
Wow. I mean, that is the pick 'em. That is the pick 'em. I don't know if you say this because they beat y'all down, but you're supposed to hate the team. You're supposed to be rooting for the team that beat your team, right? Go
They
get your
both
big
beat my
brother.
they both
They
they
both
both
beat
beat
you.
my team. So I mean, come on.
I'm gonna have to go with Seattle on this. I think Seattle's gonna fight hard and they because they got to. They got to. They got to. Uh Daniel got Arizona. Arizona's playing the spoiler. Oh, wait. So
Ooh,
both of you guys are saying the same thing. All right, then let's go to the Falcons and the Saints. Neither team is playing for anything.
give me the Saints in this game.
I got the Saints as well.
You called me crazy last week when I picked the Saints to beat Tampa Bay last week.
You did. You did. I did. I called you crazy, and that's another piece of humble pie I had to eat. I got very fat this weekend eating my words. So Daniel got the Saints as well. So we all got the Saints. All right, let's going on to the Jaguars and the Titans. This is a win or go home for the Jaguars. So they need to win this game to win their division. Who do you got?
Jaguars by field goal.
Jaguars by a field goal. Oh my God. I'm gonna go with Texas in the spoiler on this one. I'm going with the Tennessee. I'm gonna be not Texas, but the Titans. I'm going with the Titans, Tennessee Titans in the spoiler. So you and Daniel both got Jacksonville. I'm going with Tennessee Titans as a spoiler to get them out of playoff, only because I'm hoping that Pittsburgh gets in. So this is an emotional pick for me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be doing that, but I did. Moving on to the Bears and the Packers. Lions and Packers and the Bears. Packers and the Bears.
Jordan Love gets that win. Packers.
They God. Justin Fields need to have another good game to show everybody that he needs to be the quarterback in Chicago. So I'm going with another one there. I'm going with Chicago, but you and Daniel both disagree with me. Both you guys are going with Green Bay. They need this game, Chicago, because if he don't win this game, I mean, it don't care what the fans scream. They're gonna go out and get a quarterback. I'm sorry. This is, I mean, unless they choose to sit him, I don't know. But if they start him, he need to go out there and have a ball out game and prove to him and make his claim to say, hey, I need to be the starting quarterback next year. Otherwise, they're going to get somebody else. Broncos and Raiders. Nobody cares.
Raiders.
I'm going with the Raiders too. I want to see them lose so bad for what they did to Russell Wilson, but I got the Raiders. Who you got, Daniel? Broncos or the Raiders? And while Daniel's getting his pick in, we're going to go ahead to the next one. Eagles and the Giants. He got the Raiders. Daniel got the Raiders. So we all picked the Raiders on that one. Eagles and the Giants.
Dumpster fire is gonna explode this week. I got the Giants.
What? Daniel, did you hear that? You hear that? Max picked the Giants to beat his Eagles because of the dumpster fire in the locker room.
I'm not proud of this pick.
Woo! Hey, hey, I'm sorry, but I got the Eagles. I would love to say the Giants, but I think the Eagles, they're gonna figure it out because they just this is bad. I mean, I think the Eagles will win this game, but man, but I'm
Sirianni is
not
talking about he might rest the starters, even though we can still win the NFC East.
okay. Then I changed my mind. I changed my pick to the Giants. If he's already talking about starting folks to put folks on notice, then I'm definitely going with the Giants on that one. All right. Last game, the Rams and the 49ers.
I got the Rams. I told you 2 weeks ago, Rams are the dark horse. You told me I was crazy. Last week they won. They're in the playoffs. You still think I'm crazy about the Rams?
Daniel picked the Rams. No, I don't think you're crazy about the Rams. I think I'm picking the Rams too because they already got I mean, like I said, the 49ers already got they don't clinch the NFC, so they have nothing else to fight for. So they're probably resting players. They got the bye. So it just makes sense. The Rams win this game. If Rams win this game, would they take that? If Rams win and Seattle lose, they'll take that spot, right?
No, Rams are already in the
Oh, the Rams
playoffs.
already clicked. They already. Oh,
Yeah, they're in. They got the number 6 locked in. Everyone's just playing for that final spot with Seattle
okay,
leading
okay,
the
okay.
charge.
Okay. My bad on that. So yeah, I definitely got the Rams winning that game. So there you have it. Y'all, once again, next week, those are pickers. We're about to close out the show. But remember, next week we'll be doing the AFC, NFC, AFC, and NFC West teams. We did the East today. We're gonna do the West team. So if you have any info about any of those teams in those divisions, please let me know. If you don't know who they are, um, they are the AFC West teams, obviously Kansas City, Denver, the Raiders, and the Chargers. I'll have Ray on to talk about the Raiders. I need to see can I get Dana to get on to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, and then I could do Denver, and then I can do the Chargers. But the NFC West, we got San Fran, Rams, Seattle, and Arizona. So if you're a fan of any of those teams, please jump on. Leave me some information either in the comment section or DM me on Facebook. Or if you've already got the message from me, please give me some info and we can dive into the pros and cons of what those teams can do to get better. Uh, so other than that, Max, you got any final words?
Happy 2024.
Happy 2024. Okay, let's I just want to make sure I throw that out there. And yes, Daniel sent us out a happy 2024 either with a champagne emoji. But y'all, it's been real. First of all, before I get off, I want to thank all of you who supported this channel, who watched these videos, man. This this summer, going into the football season, during the off season, was the first year of us doing the live on Facebook. Been kind of tumbling over it for years now, but I finally got a chance to do it. And we're going to keep this thing running. For those of you who allowed this channel to grow with your comments, with your subscriptions, with your sharing the feed, man, 2023 was an awesome year for the Fairweather Fan podcast. My viewership grew, my subscriptions grew. Let's keep it going. It's thanks to all of you who jump into the comment section, who share the video, who like the videos. We appreciate you all. of you guys for doing it. For those who've been a guest on this podcast, from you, Max, to Jonathan G, to Daniel McCartney, to Dana Rucker, Eddie Tate, my boy Dave over in Carrollton, my homeboy George Moore, Aaron Claiborne, my brother Derek Curtis. So all of you guys who joined this podcast in some form, fashion, or the other, thank you guys. Thank you guys. And we're gonna just keep this thing rolling. This your boy AC22, Fat Weather Fan. Happy New Year, and we're out.